All right, let's let Flask Commands generate the model name for us. And this is really where I kind of um, live mostly. Um, so with the simple flag here, -m, Flask Commands will generate the model name from the controller name. Now, and we'll explain more in detail, but what it does is it kind of removes the word controller, and then before this, you have PascalCase, which is upper camel case. And so there's different segments, right? In your PascalCase, it looks at the prior segment to that. In this case, there's just one, and it uses that name. So that's we'll add more to this, but that's the rule that we need to know. The last segment before controller becomes the data structure when you're using -m. All right, so I completely deleted the prior project. My project in my demos example folder, we have Cooker still. And so let's just we'll do Flask new my project, and let that build a new fresh project for us. And then we will cd into my project. We'll run that project. Let it fire up the terminal. Here we are. And sorry, the browser there. Let's go back to VS Code. And we will make this fit the screen. All right, so here we have fresh project. The models are no models except for the user model. Again, the controller, just the main controller. And let's go in and build out a recipe model and a recipe controller. But hold on to that CRUD for just a second. We'll come back to it. If you have watched the prior video, you'll know what I'm referencing here. Right now, we're just going to use our -m flag. So Flask make controller recipe controller and -m. So it should remove the word controller and then use the model as the segment before the word controller. So let's do that. So there it did. And this is the blue section where it generates things. It generated a model or models, in this case just one, and it was recipe. So we look over here, and sure enough, there it is, recipe, and we have a recipe controller, which is just pass, but exact same thing happened. We registered the recipe, we registered the model, we registered the recipe controller in the controllers, and we registered the model in the model init. All right, so the difference between these two, and when I say between these two, because you've only seen one command on this video, but in the last video we did Flask make controller recipe controller minus let's pull that out, minus model is recipe. So the difference between this and this in this exact example is there is no difference. Except for down here, you have full control over what the model name is. Here, Flask Commands is going to name the model for you. Here, if you do not want to call this recipes, recipe, you want to call it recipes. You are in full control. If you want to call it RP or whatever you want to call this model, I wouldn't recommend this, because 6 months from now you're going to come back and be like, what is RP? But you have full control over what you want to name the model when you use the option model. When you use the flag M, Flask Commands is going to choose that name for you. And the way it chooses the name is remove the controller word and then use the segment before that word controller. All right, we'll see you in the next video.